Right, buddy, this is the 5 things we learned. Manchester United obviously got a 1-0 defeat last night at Nottingham Forest. These are the 5 biggest takeaways. I'll be talking about Garnacho and some other things as well, so let's get into it. Number one, we actually played some good football. Yes, it was a game largely which lacked probably intensity from Manchester United and that clinical cutting edge. There are times in the game where United did play some good football. We were utilising Diogo Dalot, we were winning the ball back in midfield. But we just really didn't have that clinical edge in the front, which something I'll talk about. But again, I thought our approach play was really good. It seemed like everything was good up until the final third. We defended well, last-ditch tackles, Delip being a warrior, Mazraoui just being in the right places. I don't remember Onana really having a save to make other than the Yates header, which again was offside. In midfield, Ugarte, Casemiro, they were doing their thing as well. And then when we got to the 2-10s and the striker, there was just nothing going on in that position. And we just need someone to come in the summer, Gyökeres, Osimhen, someone who can guarantee scorers goals, because that is our biggest issue at the moment, the inability to score goals. And I think that's something that you can see Amorim is frustrated about, because as I said, we are creating chances, and we just don't see where the goals are going to come from. Garnacho's, again, I don't know if he fits into the system. I don't think he does. Xerxes just not a striker, and Rasmus is just not playing. He's just a bit up and down at the moment, so that would be my huge concern. But again, number one, positive. I thought we did play some good football. Number two, Garnacho, wasteful. I think Garnacho was a player who, again, when he first came into the team, was fantastic. He was a raw, natural young talent, someone who can progress the ball, can score a goal, get an assist, left foot, right foot. And right now, he's still learning and still adapting to the Ruben Amorim system. But I think ultimately, because he's one of the best young players in the world, I don't want to see him go. But again, you have to look at, would there be someone better suited to fit in that position, like an Mbeumo, like a Cole Palmer, like a Tyler Diblin, someone who's more suited to that system. There probably is players out there, and I think that's something that you do lack with Garnacho, because he's not a wing back. You've seen like Ahmad being kind of moved to a wing back. He's not one of them, but he was just so wasteful last night. All his shots were getting blocked. His decision making was woeful, and it has been like that a lot this season. Not the correct time to pass, the correct time to shoot, his shots getting blocked, chances over the bar. I can remember 2 or 3 shots he just put wider over the bar. So Garnacho, as I said, he's a young player, he's 20 years old, but he's been in the team now for 3 seasons at least. And I think he's actually regressed in performance, like what we've seen from Garnacho this season. Yes, he's got numbers and he's got goals and assists, but at times his decision making and his overall performance is really, really poor. So that's the second thing. Now, number 3. We need a striker. I think Manchester United need someone who can score goals, and I talked about it first. As I said, we had 24 shots against Forest. I think 8 on target, and we didn't score a goal. There weren't many clear-cut chances, but I think if you do have a striker, and you can see when Rasmus came on, I think you need better than that as well. You know, I think Rasmus has never been the strong striker, and you need someone who can come on and score goals. I think the priority position has to be a striker this summer. We just lack that intensity, that quality in the final third. And I think a decent enough striker will convert some of the chances and just overall improve the way in which we play. So yeah, number 3, I think we do need a striker. And number 4, the 4th thing we learned, just a sloppy goal to concede. You look at the goal, it comes from a United corner kick. Bruno Fernandes puts the cross in. I think it's Nico Williams who headers it out. Bruno puts another cross in. It's Ryan Yates who headed it out in just a wide area. And then you have Dorgu, Mazraoui, and I believe Garnacho. And Elanga, as soon as he got the ball, he's just gone. And I think it's the position of the players. Dorgu was caught wrong-sided. And you look at the goal, he just runs, what was it, 87 metres he ran in 9 seconds. Again, it was always going to be Anthony Elanga, but you look at the way he dispatched that goal, it was a very, very tidy finish. Into the bottom corner, left foot. And again, that was just Nottingham Forest's play, to win the ball high up, win the ball in their own half. United's going to be high up and meet them on the counter-attack. And I think that was the biggest concern for Manchester United at the moment. The fact that, Forest aren't the greatest side, but again, hitting United on the counter-attack worked, and that's something that would be massively concerning for me if I was Ruben Amorim. The fact that we kept getting caught on the counter-attack, and yes, we didn't concede, but there were so many times that we got caught. Now, the 5th and final thing, we must improve. I think Ruben Amorim knows exactly what we need to do from here. As I said, he talked about the positives. I thought there were positives from the game yesterday. I thought we defended well, defended set pieces well. I thought we actually looked a threat from set pieces. I thought we utilised Dalot well. Probably one of Dorgu's worst performances. I think in midfield there just wasn't the chemistry between Ugarte and Bruno, and I think that's Ugarte and Casemiro, and I think you can't have both of them in maybe bigger games. Yes, Forest obviously higher in the table. In the Man Cities where they are controlling more of the ball, you could probably have them in there for legs, but we just can't have them starting. And I think you needed Bruno back into the midfield, and you need a Xerxes and Garnacho and Rasmus through the middle. That's something I would go with in the derby. Obviously, we are missing Ahmad. But yeah, listen, overall, it was a very, very frustrating game. You look at the game, United very easily could have won that. There were countless chances. Bruno had one or two. Delo hit the crossbar. Mount had one that went wide. Maguire had one at the end. I mean, it would have kind of been a bit of a disgrace towards the end if he won the game, because I think Forest did get into the game, but certainly was one of our better performances in a Manchester for Ruben Amorim. Again, we haven't won back-to-back games in the Premier League since... Well, we have this season. I mean, that is a shocking stat in itself. So, and it just shows how poor we are at this current moment, and that would be something that I'm very concerned about. But we move from here. As I said, City up on the weekend. Lyon is the biggest game coming up now in the next couple for United. So let's see if we can win that. Peace.